Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Malak. This is going to be brief, under 15. And I'm just going to share my thoughts for today. This is my main page. Um, and, I don't be out here much because I got other pages that I have to build. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can't upload the same video on another page. I don't understand that. But yeah, my Android only uploads for like 15. I'm not using my tablet, nothing like that. Not today. So, just gonna share my thoughts, man. What I'm thinking about right now. First of all, I'd like to give all honor and praise to the Most High and His Son, the Messiah, prophesied in the Scriptures. All right, let's start with that first. My name is Elder Priest Malak. 12 tribes, children of Israel. Came in the truth back in the 90s. I heard the truth in 94. I started hearing little bits of it, and I came in 95. I came in fully in 95. So it could be either or, I consider myself came in 95 though, But the year before, I was kind of like I was still, I knew the black people in the Bible I know the people in the Bible were black. I was into that Pan-Africanism, what I'm saying, black nationalism type thing. What I'm saying, trying to maybe, thought about going to some type of Islam or something. But I could not go into Islam because basically it was a different experience of what I had, being raised as a Christian, what I'm saying, a black Christian, the black Negro church, that's what I call it. There's many denominations. First I was Baptist, then I was so-called Pentecostal. Son of two preacher parents. They wasn't always preaching, but they still do today. Also, I was on my way to becoming possibly in the same lineage, same thing. And the Most High told me when I was 12 years old, the Most High could speak to a false prophet, a true prophet. Doesn't make the false prophet true. But the Most High could definitely speak. Even the demons know the truth. So, a so-called prophet in the church, came to me at 12 years old and told me that I was going to be a great preacher. And I didn't think nothing of it. And from that time, the Most High has been grooming me. Even in the church, I was getting groomed to become a preacher until I left and went into the truth as a teenager. So that's part of my story. I'm going to say this, and this is after almost 30 years, 25 plus. We gotta follow the Messiah, man. We gotta follow the Messiah. We gotta do what He prescribes us to do. Obviously follow the whole Bible, Old and New Testament. Follow the entire Bible. But part of the Old Covenant or the Old Testament agreement tells us to, as a law, to follow the Messiah. And this is what I'm preaching to the best of my ability. And the Messiah, Matthew 5:17 tells us through 20, you want to go into it, but the Messiah did not come and do away with the law. Because a lot of us think that, okay, we're in a new covenant, New Testament, and the laws are not done away with. The laws are, we don't got to keep no laws, no Sabbath, no high holy days, no fringes, no nothing. Where is that in the Bible? But the Messiah said He's not going to destroy the law or what is written of Him, because that's part of what He was saying also. If He says continue to follow the law, the commandments, the statutes, the judgments, then where's all these other doctrines coming from? The confusion is through reading Paul's letters, epistles, that some people get confused. Now I can say without a shadow of a doubt that we don't sacrifice animals anymore when we're not supposed to. We're not in our land, we're not in Jerusalem. The sacrifice became the Messiah, and with the sacrificial laws that we don't deal with, which is attached to the Levitical priesthood, even though there were sacrifices before Levi. For an example, the Passover and Cain and Abel, Abraham sacrificed. So all of that sacrifice was a shadow, a prelude to the coming Messiah. So we're not required to sacrifice the blood of bulls and goats, so forth and so on anymore. The Messiah came to replace that. But the scriptures tell you in the book of Daniel that he was going to replace the sacrifices anyway. All right? Because the sacrifices never took away our sins. That tells you in the book of Hebrews 8, we do 8 through 8th chapter, the 9th chapter mainly. And even some of the 10th chapter. You can also read that. It's a book of Hebrews, period. Tells us what the Messiah came for and that he replaced the sacrifices. Now, along with the sacrifices came a whole bunch of ordinances and practices and laws and even judgments with this certain part of the law, that sacrificial part. And that was replaced by the commandments of the Messiah. All right, so instead of sacrificing, instead of following those particular group of commandments, because when a brother says the law is not done away with, but then the sacrificial law is done away with, that's, that's not accurate. All right, it's not an accurate accurate statement, because the sacrificial laws were replaced by the sacrifice of the Messiah. No, he was killed. He was not. His throat wasn't cut and eaten, physically, because some people get confused, especially some Old Testament Israelites. They call themselves Torah Tanakh only. It was symbolic. And just like we had to get clean, the priests had to get clean to go to the temple, we also, as the nation of kings and priests, as the scriptures say, we got to also be baptized by water and cleanse our hearts. All right, so, and I'm also going to say something that when you think of the Israelites, a lot of people think of one particular group of Israelites. And they're talking about the ones who come out of One West, as I did. All praises to the Most High. And we are being persecuted by other Israelites and by people of the world for speaking truth. They never can prove us wrong. All they're going to do is go to some white man's book and try to beat around the bush and try to say falsehood. But we've been proven since the 60s. Some brothers say 1969, but that group, One West, was way before then. That's a fact. We talking about all the way back to the 20s. You got to know your history. But anyway, 1969, approximately 1970, around that area, was the time when the truth started to really, really push out here. Real hard body. Yes, there were Israelites before, even go back 100 years before. And that's the truth. That can be researched. One West came from the commandment keepers who were Old Testament. That can be also proven, because we got people still alive that was there. All right, they old now. They're elders, but they can come out and speak about that. Contact them. All right, some of them are dying off, so it's best to get that wisdom while they're still alive. All right. So there's really like a few different types. And it's even listed. When you look under the word black Hebrew Israelites, so-called black Hebrew Israelites, it gives you the type of Israelite. They're divided into certain groups. For an example, the early Hebrew Israelites, they had more of a Christian type of setting, like in the black church. The first black churches used to teach that we were the Israelites. The slaves knew we were the Israelites. Just knowing you're Israel is not the truth, not the full truth. All right? So we knew we were Israelites, but we still was in the church. The black church is an offshoot of that. You don't really hear from a black church anymore that we're the Israelites. You don't hear those words anymore, really, too tough. Now you have a few of them rising up and finding out. All praises to the Most High. After the black church, Like for example, William Crowdy and his people that follows him to this day. Now they claim to be Old Testament only, and there was a split, and then there's the one that follows you know, the whole Bible. I'm gonna say it like that. When I say the whole Bible, I mean the so-called Old New Testament and Apocrypha. All of that was one book at one time. But because of the division, people over here arguing back and forth, New Testament, Old Testament, not realizing that they falling into a trap of the devil. Because them books was not divided like that. All right? New Testament, New Covenant means new agreement. And Old Covenant, Old Agreement. All right? So to get into this Old New Testament stuff, I say that's why I say so-called. All right? Now, you had the groups I just mentioned. Then you had another group that's, oh, the old group is like the black church. And as they progressed, they started adding, they had some Africanism in there. And they had Christianity. Those were the first Israelite groups. Then you had, and this was not just in the South, this was all over the world. All right? Mainly the Caribbean and stuff like that, some parts of Europe, possibly. Then you had the Israelites that just follow straight Judaism. They follow everything that the fake Jews follow. Everything. The same type of classifications, the Hasidic and all that. And yes, they got it from us, but they corrupted it over the years. You have those two. So now you have these two. Africanism, basically Baptist church, mixed with, oh, I know I'm Israel. All right, Pan-Africanism, you know what I'm saying, Africanism and all that, heavy, hard body. Then you have the third group of Israelites, who you're most familiar with because they're the most vocal. And that's the ones from One West. The ones from One West, they came from commandment keepers. You had a man named Ira Ben Yamin, also known as Abba Bivens, who was a student of Wentworth Arthur Matthews from the commandment keepers. They broke off because of they had an Old and New Testament dispute. Bivens wanted to teach from the New Testament, and Matthews did not want to do that. So you see a lot of Israelites running around that don't believe in the New Testament. Some of them have their descent in Rabbi Matthews. And Rabbi Matthews was taught by the fake Jews. So he gets all of his he gets all of his teachings from the fake Jews. Everything down to the T. Except he just changed it, put a black face on it. We're not supposed to follow that. Scriptures talk about Jewish fables. We're not supposed to follow Judaism or Jewish fables. Back then that meant the Pharisees, the Sadducees, Essenes, Zealots, and all that. Not really the Zealots, because they were trying to overthrow the government. But the Pharisees, Sadducees, Essenes, which is a group not mentioned by name in the Bible, but they were a breakaway of the Pharisees. You had the Assyrians who became the Pharisees, so forth and so on. You had the Sanhedrin. They were the first Jewish people. They're the first ones into Judaism. All right, which means they followed the commandments, but they had some corruption going on. So basically, you have that. One West, the Most High gave the Spirit. All right, I'm going to say it like that. And he started revealing more to us through the school of One West. All right? And revealed the Hebrew, revealed the breakdown of who the nations are, which cannot be disputed, of who the devil is, who the white man is, and who the Israelites are. All right? Did they know everything? No. But at the same time, the Most High showed, the Most High and his Son, he gave them more of his, poured out more of his Spirit. So now we're in a time to where we got to go full circle back to the Most High and repent, because we're still learning. All right? We're still learning. And this is where I'm at now. So from this point on, this is what I'm doing. Trying to wake our people up and bring them back to the Father through the Messiah. And this is Brother Malak from 12 Tribes Children of Israel. All right. Happy Sabbath. Shalom. Shalom.